I'm Justin Arnett Graham.
And I'm Nariba Shepherd.
And this is Terms of Service.
Thank-
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
And we shifted because the last time we did this, not only it was a live episode, but also it was in the evening. But we're back at it, and it's the morning. So good morning, Nariba.
And no audience.
And no audience. But I'm still feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm awake now. I know
Great.
it doesn't sound like it, but I am.
No, you sound You sound great. So, welcome everyone. I'm always excited to do these episodes, but I'm even more excited to do this now. And again, because I get my friend here, and I feel like no matter how this goes, whether we know one another or not, I feel like when people leave Terms of Service, they leave as friends. But I get to bring on a dear, dear friend and her lovely, lovely colleague, Boyza. Hi.
Hey.
What's poppin'? How are you?
I'm feeling great. It is the morning, so I'm awakening.
Good morning.
Good morning, but I'm here.
Great. Wonderful. And you have this lovely, lovely woman with you as well. Hi, Mecca.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm fabulous.
Great.
Fabulous.
Both of you look wonderful. These braids are popping.
For real.
They're doing everything that needs to be done.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's hot girl summer. So
It is.
here we are.
Yeah. Period.
I'm kind of lukewarm, but that's okay.
Don't
No,
say
don't.
so.
Listen,
Don't.
it's
No.
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 She's extra hot.
Right.
Extra.
Yes. See,
Yeah.
piping
Right.
hot.
Piping hot.
Yeah.
I'm doing something called Hawk Girl Summer.
Hot girl summer.
And it's
okay.
when you zero in on hot girl summer moments, but you don't have to commit to it being a full hot girl summer.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because
Reba, I'm taking
I got
that.
I'm depressed, so I can't. The
Okay.
energy level is like I gotta
Got it.
recharge. So
Okay.
Hawk Girl Summer,
Hot girl summer.
real
Okay.
hot girl. Oh
like
no,
that.
can't say that.
Real hot girl shit.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
Real hot girl shit.
Hawk.
Hey.
Hawk.
Girl.
Hawk.
There it is.
You know.
Yes.
So yes,
Sorry.
Yes.
so this is, I mean, I feel like I say this every time, but it has become a point of tradition.
And I'm upset I didn't ask it before we
It's
got
okay.
started.
It's okay.
I know.
I'll start with you, Boyza. What's your sign?
Oh, I am a Leo sun. It is officially Leo season.
Oh my god.
All right.
Need I say more? I know. It's
This is
controversial.
like the
It's
last,
controversial.
literally listening to the last episode we recorded, I felt like an asshole because I like came for David in the middle of the afternoon after several glasses of champagne. I was like, I don't fucks with Leos. Just like straight up to his face. First time I met him.
Okay.
And I was like, "Ah." But okay,
But-
in your defense, Leo, not men, great.
Yeah.
Leo
I-
men are different.
Different breed.
Yes.
But I
But
do,
also shout out to David Moore because we love David Moore.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yes.
love David Moore. I feel like an
Yes.
asshole. My bad. But like Leo season, like it sucks the energy out of me. And I don't know if it's because it's like summer and it's humid, or also like you guys just like bring it back to yourselves intensely in that season.
It's both.
But I was like, I need to take a break. Like I took the month off. I'm ready
Wow.
to do nothing.
I mean, for me,
Yes, I know it's great.
it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I
That
love
confidence.
summer, but
Yes.
this is the time when I allow myself to be as extra as I want to be.
See,
Whereas
yeah.
normal
Yeah.
times of the
Yeah.
year, I'm like, let me reel it in. Let me keep it chill. Keep
Let me
it humble.
keep
But
it,
now
keep it
I'm
in the
like-
box.
That's an evolved Leo, though.
I'm like, if y'all could see these braids right now, you would understand. Like
They are
it's
indeed
time.
popping. It's time. Yes.
So that's
For
my
sure.
sign. But Mecca over here,
Drum roll. Not.
I would do it.
Yeah. Sorry. I am a Virgo.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I don't know what that means.
We're Virgo
and-
risings, though. We're the Virgo
Oh.
rising crew.
Got it.
Oh,
Like-
awesome.
So I love a Virgo because y'all superpower is
We also love everybody.
yes,
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
being like to everyone that isn't you, you're like the most together
Yep.
person ever, organized to a T.
Yeah.
Like it's the vibe, but like on the inside, you're like.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
people think that my life is together because I'm
Yeah.
a Virgo rising, and I
Yeah.
come off like that in the world, but I am a full Aries.
Mm.
So I just like, my whole thing is like learning to shut my hole and know my role. And that's like the number one struggle of the Aries. And the
Yeah.
only thing saving me is the Virgo rising.
Okay.
So
Right.
Well, Virgo and ever since, but my moon is Scorpio. So, I have a lot of organized confusion sometimes. So,
Organized confusion.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
it really makes sense. I'm very organized, but there is some like that inside, like, because I never feel all the way organized. There's like if something
Always
is out of
something.
place,
Yep.
I'm just like going crazy. But yeah, I'm a Virgo a Virgo woman. Let me be clear, because Virgo men, I don't know if that's true with all
all
signs.
signs, they're all
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
It's like a
but-
different version of the same shit,
Yeah,
but it's never good.
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. That's who I am.
I have one question that pertains to like
I love how we're just getting
Scorpios.
into like the read of it all. This is great.
Yes. So my roommate's kid is a Scorpio, and whenever she is feeling an emotion, she wants to stare into a reflective surface and look at herself while she's having that emotion, like crying.
Whoa.
And so I wanted to know if you ever like, are you a person that is like, I'm okay with seeing myself cry, or like looking at yourself?
Yes.
Oh
for
shit,
sure.
I am not. Mm-mm.
For sure. And it's like that deep, ugly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Delaney,
What?
it has been confirmed. Your Scorpio baby is not alone.
So let me
No.
say, I'm also a Scorpio moon, and
Yeah.
I do not do that shit.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't
Okay.
know what you're
So
talking
50-50,
about.
we're still out here.
You're talking about
Well, that's
looking
because
at
you're
your-
a Leo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we, like, fire signs are all about, like, a tender level of narcissism. And anything that proves a point of weakness is hidden. So, like, I cry a lot and I talk about crying, but no one has ever seen me cry.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. She'll tell you I cry like I don't know. It's just it's on cue sometimes too, and I'm just
there it
hey,
We love that sound.
I love that.
Yes.
No, for real. Mecca cries
Yeah.
all the time.
But that's
Respect.
Virgo and
Respect.
Scorpio.
She's like, I'm crying right now.
Like seriously, like Virgos, our emotions are upfront and out there, and we have no problem with showing them and owning them too.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna go ahead and say a Leo Virgo combo though is like, it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
y'all are
yeah,
y'all are
absolutely.
like the go-getter team, and
Oh.
also it's one into the other. Your
Yeah.
seasons are back to back,
yes,
Exactly.
yes.
so it's like
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
yeah.
They started and we bring it home.
And honestly, with me being first, like
Yeah.
that, I need that. And then it's like, okay, I've done everything I need to do. I've let out all my energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me chill out and let the Virgos take
Yeah.
over.
So it's
And
like
it
a
works.
legit. It's like a legit relay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
take the baton. Let's go.
And we're just, I'm just chill. When I get up here, sometimes it's I don't know, it's like work stuff, and when I'm in the kitchen, yeah, and on the farm. But other than that, it's just this level that I have.
Respect.
Yeah. Mad respect. All right. Well, Mecca, you kind of tapped us a little bit in regards to this transition here. So, the farm.
Tell us-
Let's
tell
hear
us
about,
what you're about.
Who you are, what you're representing. Yeah.
We are sisters in the village.
I thought we were gonna say it in unison.
You could do it again.
Are
Sisters in the village.
There we go. There we go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That just sounded like a lullaby.
It
sounded
did.
So
Sisters in the
soothing.
village.
Right.
Sisters in the-
Right. That's who we are. That's what we do. That's what we represent. It's we had a clarion call in the heart of the pandemic in May of 2020, where we just it really started because I've been farming, gardening for since like 2016.
The year that Beyonce became black. Just saying.
That was the year. That was the year.
Just
Yep.
saying.
Same
Oh my
same
God.
time.
That's my Virgo sister.
Yes.
So,
It's like that would not be tolerated up in here.
I was gonna say, what we not gonna do?
Listen, when
No,
I saw
no,
Homecoming, I
For
respected.
the
I got
fact
it.
of it all,
Oh.
we
That's some black
love
shit.
us some Beyonce. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, but like that was the first time I
So
saw
if
how
you're
much work
listening,
she does.
if you're
And
listening,
I got it.
feel free to
If-
reach out at Connected Terms of Service.
Shout out to
Yes.
the queen.
Yes.
Beyonce, your girl is here representing for you, so I'm letting them know.
Yes.
Okay?
And me too.
Oh.
My name's Bweza.
Yeah. But anywho,
Yeah.
so I was like, I want to do this on a larger scale, but not too much. So where we farm, Urban Growers Collective, they have like community gardens.
Okay.
And I purchased like 3 plots. And
Yes.
one of the owners, can we
Yeah.
mention that? Yeah, Erica Allen. She was like, "Oh no, this is what we're going to do this year." And then this beautiful one, because we also work together in our 9-to-5s, was like, "Hey Mecca, I want to do this with you," because she's like our houseplant goddess. But of course, you want that.
Goddess.
You want,
Yes.
and you want that.
I'm
other
here
side.
for the love fest.
I'm
Actually,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
And now
yeah.
I'm feeling ashamed because because I take care of the plants for the podcast.
Yeah.
When I left them outside and it downpoured in Rogers Park and they were too soaked to like move through the house.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like all plants.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
You
It's
can't
Okay,
be
we
hard
got
on
some.
yourself.
We got some
Yeah.
floral. We have, it's still a vibe.
There's still
I
a
know.
vibe in
Still a
here.
vibe. Yeah, absolutely.
But yes,
Yeah.
I had been more in the houseplant space for years and had just been cultivating different plants and learning how to propagate them.
You have
and
your own brand, yeah?
I have my own. I started my own houseplant business, Ebimera Vines.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yes.
And when Mecca was saying that she was going to start growing, as she had thought, in the community garden space at the South Chicago farm, I was like, well, I kind of want to grow too, because I had been growing food on a very small scale. Like I'd had a community garden plot years ago and it was an epic fail. Like I was bad because I just wasn't. I was like, I don't want to be watering every day. Like the way I treat my house plants is the way I should be able to treat these plants. No, it's different. But I was like, maybe I'll come along and I'll learn and I'll see from watching Mecca how to grow food. And yeah, Erica was like, okay, so no, you all are not going to have little plots. You are going to have all of this space. It was kind of like a moment in The Lion King
Would you
where
say
it's like,
it was a plot against you?
It was a plot. A plot
I
against us.
love a double
Yes.
entendre.
That was
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But it was like, in that Lion King moment of like, look as far as the light touches and all of that is yours.
Oh.
Erica was like, you see like that fence like way
Yeah.
back there.
You're like,
We're
that fence?
Wait, all the way there?
That
She's
one?
like, that's where your spot ends. And we were like,
we looked at each other like,
what?
You're like, well, that's at the end of what the light touches.
But that's too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't,
I was like, Mecca, do you know how to build out a farm of this scale?
kinda. I mean, because
Is it like you multiply the recipe by like 3? Is
Yeah.
it that situation?
And we're
maybe by 5.
okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, because again, I had some experience. I knew how to build beds and all of this, because I had learned from one of our farmers in our farming collective. We'll talk about that. That, I kind of was the volunteer for her farm. But yeah, not on the scale by myself, really, with her who had a little bit less experience than I had. So I'm
Much
like,
less, much
what? But with the grace of the universe and everything does what it's supposed to do in order. No, there are no strange happenings.
Yeah.
So we just kind of the manifestation was there and we were just the tools on that line. So that's how Sisters in the Village came to be.
Y'all are like
yeah.
giving me the courage that I don't have to step it up to like a plot.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I just did it and it was a hot mess, but you did it again. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Aries, this is big Aries energy. We never do anything we can't be good at
Okay.
or like win at,
Yeah.
because then you shame yourself. Right?
Yeah.
We're not trying to do that.
Yeah.
The fire signs.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like every time I do it, like anything with plants, it gets easier and becomes more second nature. And I honestly
Yes.
think it has
Yeah.
helped me like be a person, because I have to water. And like you said, like houseplants are different from
Yeah.
my like fruiting plants.
Yes.
So now
Yes.
I'm like, if I sleep over at my partner's house, I'm like texting my roommate, can you like water the tomatoes before
Right.
you leave for work? Like,
Better water those tomatoes.
Yes.
and I also think that goes into like the sustainability talk of like, when you start really growing things, you have to be like, okay, how can I make this sustainable? Because that goes into efficiency and
Yes.
cost
Yes.
and all that stuff. And what it
Yes.
sounds like you guys did was learn as you went, which is terrifying to me.
Yes.
Well, and also, I'm just sitting here, I mean, a little sad because these plants up in like the Just Narnett Graham household
Oh.
need some love. So we're gonna talk about all of that.
You know how to find me.
Yes,
You know where I
like
am.
once this wraps, because
Yeah.
I'll be walking in and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we're feeling the same. Y'all want a spritz of water?
I was going to say, the thing that I always tell people is,
But I
House-
try and jazz it up and be like, rise and shine. And shit.
right,
Yeah.
So
like
try and get them together.
Yeah.
houseplants
You know?
and the way we take care of them, to me, is a direct correlation to the way we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when my houseplants are looking scraggly and dry and
Mm-hmm.
droopy, I'm like, damn, like, what have I been doing? Have I been able to be at home resting? Have I just been going? Because these plants look ragged as hell. And then
So
I look
you're
at myself
speaking-
and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you ragged, Justin.
Oh, no,
I
no,
am
no,
not
no,
doing-
I was just like, I am
Right.
identifying with things that you have just
Yes.
mentioned,
Yes.
because I'm thinking of this
Yes.
Birds of Paradise right now that is in the corner of my living room. And I'm just like, well, you know what? If you're going to be the mirror, I guess we got to look at
Exactly.
one another.
And so
So
I'll water
I'm
you and
just
I'll take
like-
a sip of water myself.
Exactly. I was just like,
because-
I'm like, let's have a drink together.
Yes.
Okay, but
exactly.
So, like-
I can't be giving it rosé.
This is
Well,
I mean,
no.
I mean, just-
you
the-
might not.
So the thing
No,
is, like, you're like,
uh-uh.
your plants look like that, and you're like, okay, reflection of self. My room. If my room is a hot mess, it is a direct reflection of my mental health.
Don't.
That's
But
real.
my plants always look poppin' because I'm like, I'm better at taking care of other people and things than I am myself.
Oh,
So this month,
Can I-
with my therapist, I have written
Man.
self-care on the top of every single day in my
Yes.
planner,
Yes.
because I have to realize that it's like you work on it all the time, and it's not just like self-care day. It's like, shit, every day has to do this.
yes.
So
Yes.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
We
Well-
love it. We love
Well,
to
let
see
let
it.
me tell you this. I'm the same way, and I actually just moved, and my apartment is in total chaos because of everything that, like, this is prime farming season, so my days are long, they are hectic, and when I get home, I don't want to unpack no boxes.
But they're organized.
Yep.
Yes, but a little confused too.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Scorps.
Yeah.
So I'm also in school full time, and and I'm not as they say, spring chicken. So that energy level and everything.
It is
so
summertime, so
Look.
you're summertime chicken right now. So,
Look,
Summer
it is.
chicken.
Look,
Yeah.
so I keep a mantra in my head that I actually created, because the school I'm taking is I'll be a holistic nutritionist with a concentration in wellness coaching.
Yes, she will.
So
Yes, she will.
Yes,
we,
ma'am.
we had to create our own mantras, and mine is progress is a process, but consistency is the key.
I feel attacked. God.
Okay.
Say that again. Say that one more time.
Yeah, just run it back.
into the mic.
Progress is a process, but consistency is the key.
Still attacked.
My
but it's
God.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the message.
Yeah. Unlock that door. And you know
So-
what? Feel good enough to walk through it.
Look,
Okay.
look. So you have to walk it like you talk it.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Oh, can we say that?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know
just agreeing. I was agreeing.
No, you're
Okay.
Okay.
So,
amazing.
so back to the plot situation.
Yes.
So before we get further into what you did with this land,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit individually about what you do as regular human beings? Like what you said, you're like your 9-to-5 situation.
Oh, okay. So I work for an organization called Grow Greater Inglewood. And I am the, what am I? the lead program manager and the director over our Inglewood Village Farmers, which is a collective of Black and brown farmers jamming it out in the community of Inglewood.
Okay.
So it's along the and adjacent of the Inglewood
Nature Trail.
Okay.
Okay.
And she'll tell you why she knows about it as well. And it's along the 59th Street Railroad line.
okay.
And so basically, I'm an advocate. What am I? For farmers, sustainability, land trust,
Yes.
and growing food. Equity, like I'm throwing out these words because this is really what we do, and saying what my job really
Yeah.
is. This is
Yeah.
what we really do. And
Yeah.
so that's my 9-to-5, which merges into me being a farmer full time.
Yeah.
I'm also on the advocate side of the farming, the food justice side, the agricultural side, the political side of
Yeah.
what food really means
Hell yeah.
and what it means to our communities. The community in particular of Inglewood, because that's the community that we serve. So we on the ground, we're going hard every day, all day for Black and brown people.
And you about to be on the air.
And on the air. Hey, hey.
I don't know what's going on today.
Come on,
no,
come on,
you're doing
come
it.
on,
You're doing
come on,
it.
Come on.
Yes.
Send them through. Send them through.
Absolutely.
So that's
I'm here
what
for it.
I do in my 9-to-5.
Amazing.
My
Ways
9-to-5, ironically, happens to also be with Grow Greater Inglewood. So just that to say that Mecca and I spend most of our days together.
Amazing.
Literally.
In
Wonderful.
communication,
Yeah.
in person, all the time.
And we live like 5 minutes from
Oh
We're
my
like
God.
very, 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 very close.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But my role within Grow Greater Inglewood is I'm the sustainable program steward. I help with that Inglewood Nature Trail, working to make sure that we as an organization are redeveloping it into, we're calling it a linear park or like a pedestrian walkway, but that's very much for Inglewood community. We have no interest in making this beautiful fancy thing that just puts everyone on the radar and increases displacement and feeds into gentrification. We are developing this truly for community, for Black people.
Yes.
And we make that strikingly clear.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel very grateful because this is something that I've cared so deeply about, of
Yeah.
creating spaces for Black people to grow and thrive.
Yeah.
And to start our own businesses and to be the resilient, beautiful people that we know that we are.
Yes.
And it's such a blessing that that is our full-time job while also being able to act it out in real time with our farm together. It's truly, it's beautiful.
Yes. Our little tagline is "We grow, we eat," and that's in the literal and figuratively speaking sense.
Yes.
Because if we all have it, then we all have it, and it's our responsibility, our obligation to say, "Hey, we have this knowledge, we have this gift. We have to share it to our people because." Who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
They're going to tell stories about us and they don't even know about us. But it takes us to tell our history through growing food.
Yeah.
And be able to articulate that back out to the community, and they understand in a sense that's loving, that's caring, that's empowering, and we just continue to grow. We just keep it going. Just keep it going.
I feel like I used to think that it was bullshit when people are like, I have my plants and they taught me so much about myself. And now I'm like, I understand my grandmother Phyllis, R.I.P. So much
Shout
more
out to
now
Phyllis.
because it has helped me like really put into context things that are going on in my life.
Yes.
Because I just
For
have,
sure.
because I'm just like doing these projects and they take like time, like, you know, setting up my little net that's janky as hell on the porch so that my peppers have support as they're like getting taller.
Yes.
And I'm just like thinking to myself, what am I doing with my life? Like,
Yes.
like what things really matter to me?
Yes.
And that's why I always ask like our guests, if they're talking about a specific project, what do you do outside of that? Because it's sort of like all of those things knit into each other.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that with me starting to care for plants, I started looking more at my like mental health and sustainability
Yes.
over my productivity, because I was working like minimum of 80 hours, max of 105 hours a
Wow.
week,
Yeah.
trying to
Wow.
like chef it up. But as soon as I stopped and started like slowing down or turning down, as they say,
Oh.
to like, I realized that the same way that I could kill a plant by doing too much, we kill ourselves by doing way too
Preach.
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about like listing like all of the things that are a part of what you do because it is what you do,
Yes.
I thought about that in terms of like, what do I want to be doing and where can I find that?
Yes.
And
That's
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
talking
That's
with
in
Laura
growing
Louise
those-
Green.
No, for sure. And also, I mean, that reminds me, Nariba, of a couple months ago. I just had plants everywhere, absolutely everywhere in my place. And I remember very specifically, I was with my friend Kim, and you know, just like let's just start hoarding all these plants and just making it a vibe. And so she's like, duh, Justin, like, I mean, are you new to this? And I was like, yes. Yes, I am. Literally, the first night that I was home, I woke up and I was sprightly as hell.
Yep.
The next time I saw Kim, I'm like, is this weird? Because I feel like I just like was relaxing, and I felt like I had these really quiet ass roommates, which I mean, that is the only way I'll live with anyone ever again, as long as like there's that.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, yeah, I feel like my skin is popping. She's like,
Yep.
Justin, are you new? And I was like, again, yes. I am. I'm like, these wonderful plants
Yeah.
are just like they're giving me something that I didn't realize that I was lacking. And so when I bring up this birds of paradise,
Yep.
I'm like, I'm gonna need you. We're gonna get there together.
We will bounce back together.
Bounce back together.
My
That's
birds
right.
of paradise is popping.
Oh,
See,
okay.
yes.
Well, then you need to help Justin.
Yeah.
Listen,
so
I've been
we
trying
have
to
been
get
trying
him
to
to bring this
coordinate.
damn bird of paradise to my house
I
for
see.
time.
I see.
So
Yeah. Well,
It's gonna happen.
that's the other end. And I grew up with a plant mom, I'll say. My mother, I grew up on the south side of Chicago in Hyde Park, and our living room was literally a jungle. I mean,
That was
she had
fast.
every plant, and you couldn't even see our front room window because it was covered in plants. And all her elephants, some tigers and leopards.
between them,
Yes, like it
Beautiful.
was
It's a
it
real
was,
ass jungle.
Phyllis had dolls,
oh wow.
like those like Caribbean collectible dolls from all of the
Yes.
islands. That's what Phyllis
Yes.
was rocking.
And I just used to, but she would be playing like old school music, record player, and
Love
talking
that.
to these plants. And I would be like, this woman is, now I know she's crazy. Like when I say under my breath, she crazy, like she crazy for real, because she is talking to these plants. But they were so beautiful and blooming. And I didn't know that this is a certain type of being, these plants, and she's giving them life as they're giving her life.
I'm like,
You
now
know?
you like walking up and down the rows of your vegetables in the morning, be
Look.
like, hello,
Look.
like just petting them
Oh,
and shit.
Let me.
Look,
Okay.
you tell her how our vibe on the farm.
First of all, yes,
Yes.
us at the farm, like we are not conventional farmers in that farming is a joyful activity for us.
Yeah.
Yes, some days it's hot as hell. Yes, some days I'm like, I'm hungover. I don't want to do this. But when we're out there, we have music. We take dance breaks.
Yeah.
We'll be like in and out the peppers, just like bopping around.
And
And
so
it's,
you
it's
know-
such a vibe.
Our plants love trap music.
Yes.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
Yes.
Because that's all they hear.
Yes.
But also,
Feel like that is our only option.
right, but I think going back to what y'all are saying about how plants just give you all of this life and energy,
Yeah.
truly, it is unnatural for us to be living in these built boxes, in these stale environments with no greenery in sight, with all of these materials that have been fabricated. And truly, we're living in boxes. And I say this shit all the time.
Yep.
It is unnatural. We as humans need to be around plants because, first of all, it's a symbiotic relationship. We breathe out CO2. The plants take in the CO2 and give us oxygen.
Yes.
We have to exist together.
Literally
Yes.
giving
Come
us
on
life.
with the chemistry.
And I'm
Yes.
saying, so like for us, it makes total sense that when we're in environments that are full of plants, we feel more energized. We
Yes.
feel more rested. Our skin is better because this is how we should live. We've just
Not done it.
built all these things to falsely equate it with progress when really now we're like, no, but progress is going back to the earth
Yes.
and touching the ground and being
Yes.
like, oh, here we are.
Listen,
Yes.
don't,
that's
don't
it.
get me
And-
started.
and
I've
that's
done
it.
I've done too many hallucinogenics to go
Look,
down this
look.
conversation pit
Yeah.
hole.
And that's what we also do. That's what Sisters in the Village is as well, is like we all know this. This
Yeah.
is something in our bloodline. We just need to be reintroduced. We're not teaching you anything.
Right.
This is something that grandma, mama, big ma already taught you.
Right.
And so it continues on, but at some point we lost it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that happened, but we need to get it back.
I mean, I can tell you
Oh,
where it
yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
We do know where it happened.
Yeah.
Just
Many
because
places.
like many people like to not think about this, but in college, first of all, I went to the University of Vermont, which is an agricultural school.
Oh,
And
okay.
I like knew that, but I didn't know it until I like moved to Vermont, and I'm like, oh yeah, this whole state is like green, like
Wow.
that's their whole thing.
Wow.
And I learned so much about like nature going to school there, and as a Black person from the Caribbean, like I know about nature, like I
Yeah.
get it, but I then moved to like the East Coast and then grew up in cities and became 110% cityfied.
Yeah.
And I think going to school in Vermont, I took a construction of whiteness class that was taught by a Black professor.
Wow.
Dr. Sherwood, what up?
Shout out.
One of my
Yes.
What up,
fave
Sherwood?
classes. I was exactly one of 4 people of color in the class, including him and my friend Julia, who does not look like a brown person, and one other dude. But in the class, I wrote my paper about how nature is like whiteness is like nature. It's everywhere. No one talks about it.
Yeah.
And then I folded it into, well, especially now, like white people use nature as their escape, and they use that same situation for like young inner city kids. They're like, oh, we'll take you out to this place
Yep.
and you can experience it, but the poorest white person can go camping and the poorest of Black people cannot because accessibility has been denied.
Absolutely.
And so like we don't have a connection to the land because we spend so much time, especially like African Americans, working the land, and then you got it taken away from you when you try to produce for yourself. So then also like, you know, the way that travel and like the slave trade was set up is that Black people and people of color stuck to port cities because that's where you came in and you weren't allowed to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So like our connection to the land is gone because it's been taken from us so many times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
we haven't been allowed to own it.
Yes.
So it's like, why would you start doing something if you can't keep it? And I think that's why we're seeing such a rise, especially with Black people, Black and brown people in an outward way, talking about their like plants or like
Yes.
doing these things that we didn't have access to before, because it wasn't allowed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My grandfather used to talk about his big thing, rest in peace, John Henry. And so he would grow these like beautiful sunflowers just in the heat in the country of Arkansas.
Wow.
And when I say country, I mean country with a K.
Yes.
Real
Story.
deep south. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
so I remember growing up being so fascinated by this and how much he cared about it. And I was extremely young, probably I'd say 6 or 7. And I remember asking him, I was like, Granddad, why are you always growing these, amazing sunflowers? And he's like, you have to be able to build joy wherever you can. And this is my joy.
My
Come
heart.
on, John Henry.
My heart.
Right? Like it just,
Whoa.
yeah,
That
and
would
I
hit
haven't
me.
even thought about that in so long.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, these things, I thought tiny.
The seeds, sunflower
Just,
seeds.
no,
yeah.
but I mean, these
Oh
were
no,
just
they are ginormous.
Sometimes I get scared if I see like sunflowers from like 2 or 3 blocks ahead because I'm like, I gotta walk through them bees.
Oh yeah, bees love
But
sunflowers.
those bees are so busy working.
Yeah.
They're not
I
trying to
know,
bother
They're
you.
not,
I know,
they're
but
not studying.
I am
they're
afraid
on the clock.
of nature.
They're on the clock.
Yes.
So
I'm afraid of
they're
her.
working.
We'll
Yes.
work on that.
Or
We-
overtime.
trying.
I learned that there's like 26 types of bees.
Yep. Uh-huh.
What?
What?
It's a lot
I've
of
been
bees.
only afraid of 4.
Oh, okay. I
types.
thought you were about to like. I was only afraid of 1, and now I got 25 more
Right.
to watch out
Right,
for.
right. But 1 compared to 26, even like I gotta be worried about all these damn bees.
All these damn bees.
And they can't like cross paths because I didn't realize that they carry different types of like diseases. So the whole like when I learned about like them shipping bees, apiaries to like California for like almond trees and shit to like the same bees don't always go back to the same hives and then they ship them back and they release all these new like bees to this other environment and they die or they like spread whatever diseases they have there and I'm like bees I forgot that they're a living creature in that sense and that they have their own bee problems.
Man,
They
got
do.
issues.
Damn.
And it's so because they colonize. So that's using that whole word, but
Yeah, that's how they do it.
you
Can't
know.
not do it.
Right.
Right.
So,
But bees are magical.
Oh,
They
Yeah.
are. I
Magical.
respect them.
Oh,
Extremely
my.
intelligent.
I crossed the
Yes,
whole
they
ass
are.
street.
They
all of
you
this,
crossed the whole ass
Oh,
street.
all
I
of this
was
is
giving
to
them
to save the bees.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I with my bee tattoo. Like,
Oh,
I love
yes.
bees.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, damn. I just.
Well,
I'm
I'll
just
be
fucking-
damned.
I'll be damned. Okay, you were on a roll.
did it
You were
again.
on.
There's no stopping.
I'm sorry.
We couldn't even stop it if we wanted to.
Right.
So it's
I
okay.
love that because I do funny stuff like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
when
Okay, so
someone
usually
else
Justin
does it,
does
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
I don't know what it is. Usually Justin's on those jokes, like on it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fine. I'm.
yeah.
So this is kind of an example of our relationship, Nariba. It's just like I'm rubbing off on you.
The yin
You're
and
rubbing
the
off on
yang.
me. It's
We're
just
friends.
Or
it's,
thing 1 and thing 2.
Thing 1 and thing 2,
Okay.
110%.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm thing 2.
Okay.
Oh,
You know?
Okay.
Someone has to be like in charge of me.
Oh, okay.
Like that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
I learned very early in quarantine. I'm like, I can't work for myself. Like
Okay.
I can work for myself, but
Yeah.
it stresses me out
Yeah.
and myself cannot handle that.
and myself can.
So I made a decision for me, myself, and I
Yeah.
to work underneath or with other people.
Beyonce.
Sure. I know. I was like, you said me, myself, and I. We've been shouting out Queen Bee all day. Queen Bee. Back to the bees.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean,
there it is.
okay.
Back to the money. Okay. So we're here.
Yeah.
Max, how we doing? How we doing, Max?
Great. Awesome. Yeah, so I I want to touch upon something that you had mentioned earlier in regards to equity and just like land ownership. That is something that I very recently have become more aware of, and everything with this platform specifically, I'm always looking for like that kind of like angular tie-in to the hospitality industry, the community, etc. But very, very specifically, I think that land equity is an often overlooked topic within the spaces of hospitality, because when you think of land, you don't think of the land per se, you think of what the land produces. So when we talk about, you know, tomatoes and peppers and things like that, it's just like, oh, okay, there's like a farming element to it, but there has to be an earthly element to it, which is literally the earth. And I would like to hear your thoughts on, you know, just not only land equity, but how that translates into wealth ascension within the Black and brown communities, and how that ties into hospitality. And I know that I just like hit you with like a like multi-tiered, you know, thing, but that is where my mind naturally went as this conversation has been progressing.
For sure.
Go on, man.
Well, I mean, I have just a snippet of what the land and the land access. So spiritually, we know we don't own land.
Right.
This is something that is here. It has been here before us, and we return back to it. But we steward the land as good shepherds to be able to say, okay, this is what our ancestors did. We have, again, an obligation and a responsibility. So as Black women farmers, it's our responsibility to get this land, to steward it, to make it great, and to grow this amazing food for communities, ours being the first, and then share it back out. And then instruct people on how you should do this, because it's just not about growing this food, but you need to be able to steward this land. You got to take care of this, because if you take care of the land will take care of you.
Absolutely.
And this is how we keep replicating and keep building and keep all of that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yes.
That was multiple dollars there, so it was way more than 2 cents, but beautifully said.
I love Mecca
Ashe.
so much.
Yeah.
I love you
I
so
enjoy
much.
both of you, and just like looking at how you definitely care so much about and for each other.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's
nice.
special.
I like it.
This is my baby girl.
She's my sometimes mom,
Yeah.
sometimes sister, sometimes
Yeah.
BFF. But yes, land is so sacred and special. And within this country, there have been so many pieces put in place to keep us as Black people from having any access to land, to have land that is our own. And it's extremely infuriating to me to see the ways that we have been tricked and misled and deceived in order to take the land away from us.
Right.
Because I think it is common knowledge. No person can question the fact that when Black people have land, we make shit happen.
Yes.
We
Period.
are powerful, we are resourceful, and
Yes.
honestly unstoppable.
Yes.
And the thing that people don't understand is in our culture, we share things.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we have land and our land is abundant and we're growing food and we're building these safe spaces, we share that out with people.
Yes.
It just,
right.
it becomes
The
certain
barter
people.
system.
Right, bartering, sharing. But
Yeah.
people have extracted that and have been like, well, let me con these people because I want that for myself.
Yeah.
So that I think that's how
And only my community.
for me.
Yes.
For
Not
me.
even community,
me.
but for myself.
Well,
Yes.
because it becomes an anchor of them to cultivate community in their vision,
Yes.
as opposed to what is traditionally just
On the
valued
table.
Yes.
on the table. And boys, I do want to stay there for a quick second, because we never spoke about where you're from.
That's
on,
real.
man.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
So I was born in the U.S. but am Ugandan.
Okay.
All of my dad's side of the family is born and raised, and many still live in Uganda. And talk about like land and beauty. the most beautiful land, in my very biased opinion, is in Uganda. Like, we sit on the equator. It is the
It's all
most
of the things.
lush, tropical,
Yes. Yeah.
beautiful place with the most beautiful people.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like in this journey of getting into farming, I'm kind of tapping back into all of the knowledge that is already in my bloodline on both sides.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, in Uganda, my grandparents had a farm.
Yeah.
It's still, they have since passed, they are now our ancestors, but that land is still within my family.
Yeah.
So I go about once a year if I'm able and just spend time there, and just the vibration of sitting there and being like, my
Yeah.
grandparents planted these plants
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're
That are
still
still
here,
growing.
still
Yeah.
producing.
Yeah.
It's the most
And not
powerful,
only producing, but like prospering.
prospering.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to me, that's what keeps me grounded, and that's
And
what,
that's how I feel about them damn sunflowers from my
exactly
granddad.
Yeah.
You just
like
feel
every
it.
time I see them, it's
Yeah.
just like there's this peace
Mhm.
that I have, but also this like connection, but it's not sad, it's always grateful.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it just yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that gets back to what Mecca was saying. Like, this is our obligation to care for this land, because we know that our parents, our grandparents, great-great-grandparents, generations of people put so much love into caring for and stewarding the earth
Yeah.
To make it possible, make all
to
this
make it possible.
We-
So it's
we
our
gotta-
duty
yeah,
to
yeah.
continue that.
We
Just-
got to make it a rites of passage as a people.
Yeah.
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 I feel like in the same vein, the other day I had this really intense thought because someone asked me like a question that I'd never really thought about like the term BIPOC, and then going into like talking about like land and stuff. It's like this weird crossover.
Yeah.
And I never really had an opinion about BIPOC until, for me, and this is my opinion, it feels like now BIPOC is sort of like when people used to say we don't see color. It like it has a purpose and a place, but I feel like now people are using it as an umbrella term to fit all of us underneath
Right.
this one thing when we all have individual issues.
Yep.
And someone brought up the issue of land, and I'm like, okay, but so we're out here fighting for what was promised when slaves were freed.
Yeah.
And then I started really thinking about it, and I'm like, these fucking white people came here and took the land from the indigenous people and then put them all in a corner. And then they were like, we'll free these black people and give them the indigenous people's land. And it's like, this is a double blind study and everyone's getting robbed. Like, so I've just
Yeah.
like really have been thinking about land ownership, and specifically for like African Americans, because in relation to what you were saying, like, you know where your family's from, and it is rooted in something. And I know where my family's from because they're rooted in the Caribbean, but not all black people have that experience or feeling, and it's why I've been trying so
Say
hard
that.
to like think about the privilege that I have of being like someone whose family was just dropped off on one stop sooner than like America.
Damn.
Like
Yeah.
there's no real difference. The only
Yeah.
difference is that my country is my culture,
Yes.
you know? And
Yes.
that's why I feel like it's taken me so long to realize that, like, in a sense, that has separated our views on land, because I feel like it was easier for me to respect and accept land because I had grown up with it,
Yeah.
you know? But
Yeah.
like, I feel like when I moved to the States, specifically living in Roxbury, Massachusetts, there is no land. It was the projects. And like, if you go back now, it's now like townhouses.
Yeah.
And now they're taking care of that land and space, but it's no longer black land or
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. So that's something that, as a almost 47-year-old woman, that I struggle with. And I use black very loosely, just because of these reasons. Like you said, you all are connected to an indigenous part of you. But me, I don't know that. So I do have to take these tests to see, these swabs to see where do I descend from. Who do I identify with? And I'm sure
that process is also like low-key traumatic.
I mean,
I mean, and that's something that I feel like people don't acknowledge.
Real.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I always acknowledge the fact that who the fuck am I?
Right.
Like, I can get this swab and say I'm a descendant of this, that, and the other. Is that true? Because are y'all like, I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. I can't say that I'm Ugandan. I can't say that I'm Trinidadian. I can say that if I choose to identify with it. But will it be real?
Right.
We'll take it.
I mean,
We'll take
it.
I mean, you know, but in real facts, you know, I would have to go down bloodlines and bloodlines to really see who I identify with. So when I call myself a black woman, because first of all, there's so much stigma even behind that. Being a black woman, the hurt and the pain and the trauma behind that. If I raise my voice in a conversation, I'm looked at as this angry, you know. God damn it, I can be angry. You said we could cuss. Right?
Yeah.
I said it.
Oh my
You
God.
guys do whatever.
I don't
We're out
curse.
here like
You can say
dropping
whatever the hell
F-bombs
you
and you're
want to
like,
say.
I want to make sure we okay. All right.
Respect.
But you know, it's this stigma that we have on us that I'm like, you can put on me what you want to, but I'm learning who I am too. So yes, I'm angry, you know, and I have every right to be, you know, but I am still a woman and I'm still thriving and I'm doing amazing things in the community. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But
Well,
also, like, how now I'm just thinking about this elaborate scheme that we have been woven into, how we've just been truly schemed.
yeah.
How can you expect people to care for land when you stole them from the place that is their actual land and just like dropped them in and been like, there you go? Like,
Yeah.
no wonder we don't take care of our
That's
communities
what I'm saying.
first
Because
of all,
you've not been taught to, one, because they put you in a place that wasn't cared for to begin with.
Yes.
like the
yes.
worst spots.
Yeah.
The worst
Yes,
spots.
and they would say that, of course, the community we serve, Inglewood, is one of those places. But I know, and I can speak for us, that we've learned that the empowerment that we have for ourselves, that we have to carry that on to the communities. So that the work that we do, like I said, we're not, you know, we're reintroducing, but I think people don't feel empowered, that they're in their own areas and they can't thrive because everyone else is coming in telling them what to do with their own space. And we shouldn't have to do that. Right. We know what to do. Like you were saying about white campers as opposed to, you know, black children not being able to do that. But I tell you this, if you put those groups of children out there, but they would be able to survive.
Yeah.
They would be able to be sustained. And that's what
because that's ingrained within
That's
you.
ingrained within us. My uncle, when we're talking about history of why, some of the reasons why I do this too, he was a man who was a carpenter all his life. He retired to Mississippi, where my family is from. Where, Mississippi? If you blink, you miss it. And that's W-E-I-R.
Okay, I was about to
Right, right. But he moved back to where he was born and raised. Started with one little trailer and then built out this big elaborate house from this one little trailer and built this man-made red clay pond with these catfishes as big as us, raising them, making moonshine. And this is like in the early 90s to 2000.
God damn.
But because of lack of knowledge and self-worth, today we don't even know where that land, who that land belongs to anymore. Since he has passed, that land is gone. That he built from his bare hands. And now what has happened to it?
Right.
And that's also like another level of the conversation, which is we're not taught how to have generational wealth, so we don't know how to protect it.
Yes.
And like people, my friends are always like, make a will, like do a will, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we're like, oh, we have time to do that.
No.
You know who's doing it?
Yep.
People.
Yeah.
Do.
They're doing it.
If we have not seen what COVID the pandemic, what people should have learned, that this is something that naturally goes on in the world. First of all, this is not anything new to this world.
Yeah.
But if it is new to you, preparation is the key. And people think, but it's a mindset, because in people's mind, oh, I don't need no will, I don't have no money. But you got a bank account that if you die, who's that money gonna go to?
Exactly.
Is it going back to the bank, or are you giving it to your family?
Right.
Like if I got $15 million in the bank and I die and I'm not set up, that money is going back to the bank.
If you have 2 cents in the goddamn,
I was like, did you
did I say 15 million?
You did say 15 million. I was like, well, you know what? Speak it into the universe.
Right, manifest that shit.
Manifestation station.
But yes, it's like even if you have 2 cents
Yes.
in your bank account,
Yes.
it's just like poof, gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm a part of a project that had me go to multiple markets and get to talk to really innovative creators and makers that were adjacent, but are adjacent to the hospitality space, and very specifically in Detroit. I met a wonderful, wonderful woman who was talking about just, again, land equity, generational wealth, but through the lens of lack of education within the Black and brown spaces, but the things that they're trying to do to challenge those amongst the community to start paying attention. And the thing that I kept thinking about throughout the context of that conversation is something that people outside of this community may feel is a bit challenging or charging, but this idea of like back to Black, which is really looking at the sustainability of your community and your culture, and literally getting back to like how the shit is for us, as opposed to how we have had to pivot and navigate because it has been, again, constructed in a way to where you have to kind of have these pliable mentalities. And I really, really think that there's a multitude of different things we're talking about with this conversation, but I really appreciate you both for being so candid during this, because this context is not supposed to have people feel like, oh, well, you're like bashing this. It's like we're trying to celebrate these things. We are trying to solve actual problems that may not touch you, but they are real to literally everyone else that does not identify or is being treated as you are.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
And it's like also a way of saying that, like, the reason that there's so many dichotomies amongst us, in not even just like in a race way, but like in an economic way and like in mental capacities and all that shit, is because at the bottom of everything, being black has been the thing that people have tried to separate themselves from the most. And all of the systems are set up to keep Black people like
From being black
and being like in control of their like themselves essentially. And I think it's hard because people don't like feeling like they're not important. And I think by what we're doing and trying to do, and I've been working on this since 2016, is like I have a privilege that I don't like, but I know and I understand it when we're like, if 3 of us are in a room and someone says something about like Black women, my first instinct is like not to say shit, because for so long some people don't consider me Black because I'm not like other Black people, because they know like I'm from Trinidad or and I'm lighter skinned, and I'm like, my privilege is in a room with no dark-skinned Black women, I will speak up for Black women. But if there is someone there who can say something and there's a place for voices to be heard, I'm not gonna step on other people's toes. That's why I don't like speak to other issues in other communities, because like I don't know. And I think that's the problem with everyone wants to know about Black things, but they might not be
But
black.
they want to take their version of black things. I mean, we can go through a litany of examples to where it's like, you know, safe black, you talk white, you know, like all of these things that again are extending you from your blackness. And it's funny because as I've gotten older, I have really tried to focus on coming to really celebrate just the Southern experience of being in Arkansas every damn summer. And that was, as I look back, you know, that was such a fulfilling time in my life. I just got back from New Orleans, and I mean, that just, like, it filled my cup. You know, just like everywhere I looked, I was just like,
we were there.
Okay. I was like, but not only like we were there, but like we are there.
Yes.
And it's just that silent acknowledgement of just like, we see each other, but yet we're also like rooting for one another. And that's just that camaraderie, that cultural camaraderie that we all share.
And to me, that is what makes Sisters in the Village so special.
You damn right. Look at that wraparound. Bring that back.
Yes.
Because like as two dark-skinned women, we have created this space that, first of all, is black as hell. Sis does in the village. Like there's no questioning. But it's also a space where we just allow everyone to come as they are.
Right.
We have volunteers come from all ranges of life, of all backgrounds and identities. And they know without question what we are doing. As soon as you step on the farm, you're like, oh, I see. I see what these people are doing. But it's
they should also be able to feel it.
Yeah, and they do.
Right.
Like, there's no denying the feel of it. But also, we are part of a collective on that site where there are about 7 different farm businesses, all owned autonomously by different Black, Brown, Indigenous groups or individuals. We're on the same land, but we all have our separate businesses, but we root for each other. Like we had one of the farmers texted me one day and was like, oh, y'all's tool shed is open. Do you want me to go and close it for you? And I was like, thank you so much. I don't know how that opened. Like it's collective supporting each other.
And even sharing our crops. The same person was like, hey, y'all growing okra. They make boxes, you know, food boxes. Can we buy some of your okra? So we do a bartering system too. We're staying in the mindset of what we represent and being real intentional on how we move. Being on that farm, and even our volunteer process. Like, we know they're all walks of life, but when you come to this farm, you are touched in a spiritual way. It's not about religion, but it's this connection.
You know what it is? It's called hospitality.
There we go on that wraparound.
Because you're making it a place that is hospitable for everyone to come and do the thing and like be accepted and it be acceptable. And it's effortless for you because it is what you do.
Yes.
It's like, it's your hospitality.
And it's because
and it's who you are.
It's who we are.
But I think it's a direct response to us having so many experiences in life where we did not feel welcome.
Exactly.
Based on being Black women, being whatever reason, we've both had so many experiences where we're like, that place does not make me feel comfortable. I don't go to this part of town or to this part of the country because I just don't feel safe there. And so because we know what it feels like to be unsafe, we also are trying to create a space where it is truly safe. And I can't even tell you, as a person who does not cry much at all, I have shed so many tears on that farm because I'm like, this is where I feel held. I have mad issues. Like, I'm not even going to get deep into it, but like, I've had the closest people in my life have truly fucked me over so hard my whole life.
It's so, I mean, but we have to touch on that about our kindred connection with that too.
I'm here.
And
we
I
have to talk
mean,
about it. I think it's
mother-daughter.
I think it's a if you are a vortex of energy, that shit comes with it, because they got vampires out there trying to leech that energy.
Right.
And as soon as you find out, you're like, I can't do this, and that's the boundaries. The boundaries is an issue for other people.
But the should be as deep as the person that you birth and the person that birthed you. We also bring this generational connection too, because again, I mentioned I'll be 47. She actually will be 29 in
like a week.
Happy early birthday, Boris.
Thank you.
And she's the same age as my daughter. And so when I say my baby girl, we have that connection. But again, the sister, the auntie, but she's been the same for me. And we've been able to be a covering for each other through growing food. Like, this is so much deeper than literally, but the deeper it goes, it runs deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I get
through the roots.
Oh, she's about to cry.
and I'm about to cry.
I was like,
it's
she's
okay.
about to cry.
She knows.
I
So
cry
that's
here.
why I'm
You're
like,
fine.
Yeah, you're
so
good.
I'm like, okay, pull it together, girl. Pull it together. You can't just cry all the time.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
you can.
It's okay.
Yes, you can.
She will.
But it's when you start to reflect and tell these stories of how Sisters in a Village really came about. These are the connections. Like, the universe was building us up to be in this space today. She wasn't even thought of. I was a young teenage mother. Didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I knew I had to raise this baby, and I knew I had to, support this baby and do everything, be a young wife, and all these things that I had no experience, and she was in the making, coming along, and we just somehow came together.
Yep.
And this gap that was a gap is no longer a gap. We have bridged it.
It's
Yes.
a trip.
It's a
Yeah.
trip.
And
a
it's
trip.
so powerful.
Yeah.
Just as we grow, as we learn
Yeah.
from these two, as she said, different walks of life,
Yeah.
we have just found each other, and we're like, damn, this is what healthy relationships look like. This is
Listen.
what actual love looks like. I'm gonna take you there, because
We were-
like
yes.
Yeah.
the way that we just have learned to fully accept each other
Yeah.
without judgment. The shit that I share with Mecca, I'm like, this is about
Yeah.
to be, I'm gonna throw
Yeah.
myself under the bus. But she's
Yeah.
like, okay, Boyza, that's a little confusing and reckless, but like,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Listen, my sister is 40, I don't want to fuck this up, 49, 48, 49. No, 49, because I'm 31.
Okay.
So there's an 18-year difference between
Yeah.
us, and I, for the first time in my entire life, understand her now. And she raised me, and we fought all the time, like all the
wow.
time.
Yeah.
And it's not until like, and I think this is the other part of it, Black people don't talk to each other
No.
about things.
No.
We talk about stuff, but we don't talk about things that matter a lot.
Real.
Yeah.
And
talk, man.
it's like, I went to school for social work,
Yeah.
so like I learned a lot of like communication skills and stuff, and I've been like psychoanalyzing my sister a little bit.
Yeah.
But the more she started talking about her traumas, I'm like, no wonder you did all this wild shit when we were growing up. Kirsten, I love you. I know you're not listening to this, but still. But like,
She
and
might.
it's like also a generational thing of like, she grew up in a completely different time to the time that I was born.
Yeah.
You know? And like,
Yes.
I feel like every generation is so busy trying to just be their own thing. No one is thinking about like the trauma that other people went through for us to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'm like, my sister had to fucking fall flat on her face. So me, the baby, the fourth born, could like afford the luxury of being like, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I think that
Yeah.
I understand like what you're saying. I'm having the experience of like being better with my family, but I've always had the experience of building my friends into family. And I think
yeah.
you're the perfect
Well,
mesh of both.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what we've done, because unfortunately, you can do so much. Healing it goes on for
It's
as
a
long
lifetime. Yeah.
as
Yeah,
you're
it's
on
a
this
journey, not a
land,
destination.
right? But healing is for yourself. Forgiveness
Right.
is for yourself.
That's
You
right.
have to understand and know that just because you heal, that person over there that may have hurt you, that may have wronged you, if they're not healing, then but you can't be responsible for that.
Preach
So
on
we've
that.
found a way
Yes.
that, and it's usually family members that are like that even if they're not getting the healing, we still need our own personal healing so that we can be able to move on, because the work that we do, there is a lot of trauma. Let's just be real in
real.
farming
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Black women. So we have to be able to tell these stories in love, but also be clear and understand. And know that time does fly.
Yeah.
And know and understand that what we're doing, that these things will come up. And we have to be intentional about how we tell these stories. A lot of meditation, a lot of prayer, fasting, like, because this shit is real.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be responsible for, owning someone else's trauma out of the stories that we're telling. And so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can go on and on about that, but that is one thing that we make sure that we're intentional about, is being right in our shit, even when we're not. But understanding that, okay, this may be fucked up, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, as they say. So yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that, because I feel like you've already answered this question, but I do want to pose it formally. With the work that you both are doing, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
What's this? 2000
I know. I'm like 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
carried it too.
I feel.
Carry the
I'll
two.
speak to myself.
Yeah.
I, in 5 years, see and hope that I will continue to build and grow a community of people who truly care for me and who truly love me without any kind of disclaimer. I want to see that community be vibrant with people with all different types of skills and different interests, and we all learn from each other while also just nurturing each other. And I feel that, to me, I think that is in Chicago, but I also want to kind of have this cross back and forth between here and Uganda, because I need
Amazing.
to. But to have bridging these communities on both sides, but also just continuing to learn. That's all I hope. I also hope that Sisters in the Village continues to grow into the village that we know it is, to expand and keep growing food and keep making different products and having, our value-added products in stores,
You
that
make
kind of
the
stuff, but
Yeah.
not for the sake of gaining profit, but for the sake of just reminding people
Yeah.
that this is the shit that matters, being on the earth,
Yeah.
caring for the earth, and just caring for each other. So I fully think that could happen in 5 years. I think it's happening right now, but I just want to continue to grow that while also just releasing all of the weight that I have been carrying.
Damn
Like,
right.
release all that trauma and shit, because I don't need, that's not mine to hold.
Nope.
Mecca, what do you see?
I don't know, personally, I want better, thriving relationships with my family, especially my daughter. So,
You're
It's
good.
okay. I cried at the last podcast recording.
She sure did.
It was 2 days before my period, and I said it, but
yeah.
I cried.
Yeah. And I'm a grandmother. So to also, and that is my girl. That's my true BFF. Do we still say that? I don't know. But
We can.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just did.
But, Layla Marie, if you're listening, you my girl.
Oh,
She is a Sagittarius.
Oh, shit.
And she is every bit of a Sagittarius.
The spunk, the weird,
Look,
you can smell it.
Look. And I just, I always thrive to be the best person that I'm supposed to be, and even beyond that. And I don't even know what that means all the time, but that's a prayer of mine that I always say.
I feel like that means that you're committed to your journey, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yes, I like that. I'll write that one down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for Sisters in the Village, just continue to grow, just continue to be an organization that has come out of love and affection and passion and some amazing just in the grounds work, literally speaking. And to just continue where that will go. And she talked about our value-added products. Yeah, I want that to make a lot of money.
Okay, we can make a couple.
They're
That's right.
really good.
Yeah,
They're really
that's
good.
true.
We make a Southern cha-cha.
Okay.
What that?
Yes,
Tell me.
it
Yes.
is like a relish, sauerkraut family, but it's something that you put on your beans, your greens, and it's from the South. It's chow chow or cha cha, depending on who you
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm
I've
familiar
heard
with
chow
chow
chow,
chow.
but
Okay.
I've not
Yeah,
heard
there we
cha
go.
cha. But
Yes.
I'm like, I want to eat it.
I mean,
Yes.
I
it's
would love some.
bomb.
Yes.
So yes.
And it came out of me, my grandmother, Maddie King. I looked at her recipe. Well, first, my mother, she has created a family recipe book, cookbook. And she had her version of the chow chow, which she calls it cha cha. And I was like, "Ooh, Grandma, I love you, but string beans and cauliflower, I'm not too sure about this." So I kind of made it my own. And last year, again, during a very desperate time for desperate people, it went off the shelves. And it was just let me just do this. And my mother has said, my mother calls me Nikki, because my middle name is Nicole, nickname. She said, you really need to carry, this is what, because I'm not a chef. I call myself a culinary enthusiast. So in the kitchen, I am a scientist though.
Okay.
And I love to experiment with spices, different everything, So this was Maddie King's, 02 to Maddie King, but I kind of switched it up and changed it around.
Yeah.
So, and I pickle everything.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
So, just to continue to carry on our legacy.
Hell yeah.
And have our story told.
Amazing.
Damn right.
Well, we all know what this means.
I ain't sad today.
I am not sad either.
I feel empowered, yeah.
I feel empowered, and I also feel like my cup is full.
Oh.
Yes. So thank you so much. Before we wrap this up, I just want to thank you both again, and also Blind Barber for hosting this conversation. Also, if we remember at the beginning of this episode, there was that beautiful sound of this delicious non-alcoholic craft beer that we were enjoying from our friends
Brewing
at
Company.
Athletic Brewing. I've been having the Run Wild IPA, which has been delightful. And again, before we roll this out, Bweza and Mecca, can you please tell our audience where they can find you and, really support all of the efforts that you have put forth?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram. We are at Sistas, A-S, in the village. We have volunteer days every Saturday. We would love for anyone listening in the Chicago area to come see the space, contribute in whatever way you can, and also you can donate through our come work. You can donate through our Linktree. I think we have a link in our Instagram that takes you to our PayPal. So we're just grateful to be here. Thank you for letting us share this space.
Support your local farmers market.
Oh, she leaned in close.
Yes,
to
real
that.
close. So it's extra crispy.
I was like, y'all got
Support.
a CSA?
Yes.
We don't. We share in a CSA,
Okay.
but we
Okay.
don't have one. We'll start that probably next year. But
Okay.
support your local farmers and your farmers markets, please.
Wonderful.
I don't
Because
know.
they yell at me when I
Wonderful.
burp on the mic. So I was trying to burp.
No, you're. Oh
no.
no. I think two separate things.
Yes.
were,
Oh, yeah.
were
They were two
happening.
separate things.
So, just another thing that popped in my head. So, for your hopes for the future, would you believe and just really want for
Are you gonna make a bad
Sisters in the
joke?
Village to propagate and prosper?
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Put it on a
Yes,
t-shirt.
and yes.
Put
There
it
you
on
go.
a t-shirt.
There we go.
Wow.
And so to
Wow.
continue my role of thank yous, again, thank you so much for Sisters in the Village, for joining us. Our wonderful producer, Max.
Thanks,
Nariba,
Max.
I am always in awe and thankful for you. Myself, this is Just Narnette Graham. You may find me on Instagram at What's Biko. Thank you again.
And this is Nariba Shepherd. You can find me at Rebaru on Instagram because that's the only social media that matters to me. Deuces.
Peace.